Amidst the new coronavirus pandemic, numerous organizations are executing intentional or obligatory work from home approaches. That implies bunches of us are managing a strange test, telecommuting just because, full-time. Regardless of whether you've done it previously, telecommuting on account of coronavirus may feel like an entirely different world. It's presumably unexpected. It may be for an all-encompassing timeframe as opposed to a day to a great extent, and you're not in the slightest degree sure to what extent it'll last. Your entire organization is included. Also, you can't really associate face-to-face outside of work. These tips will assist you with ensuring that you're effective, both at completing your work and at keeping up your psychological prosperity. 1. Get dressed. It may appear to be a basic hint, yet it's an urgent one. Prior to coming to work for the Muse, I went through around 8 months of telecommuting when my full-time office work turned into a remote situation with small notice. It was enticing to remain in my nightwear throughout the day, however, any day I surrendered to allurement was much slower to begin and less beneficial by and large. You don't have to dress as officially as you may for work, yet the straightforward demonstration of changing garments fills in as a sign that it's a great opportunity to wake up and complete things. Try not to belittle the intensity of getting into garments appropriate for open survey. It causes you to feel human, and helps adhere to a meaningful boundary between being grinding away and being at home, says Heather Yurovsky, Muse vocation mentor and the organizer of Shatter and Shine. Feeling human may appear to be an odd thing to need to effectively consider, yet it's particularly significant at a time this way, when the breakdown of your ordinary schedules may cause you to feel cut off from your typical life and the genuine world. Getting dressed likewise applies to other appearance-based assignments. Take a shower, brush your hair, even put on cosmetics if that is the thing that you'd normally do. You don't have to go as all out as you would for the workplace on the off chance that you would prefer not to. However, awakening and dealing with your appearance can go far toward helping you have a feeling that you're dealing with yourself. Additionally, in light of the fact that you're telecommuting doesn't imply that nobody from work will see you. It's 2020 and we're going to have a great deal of video gatherings. 2. Assign a workspace or home office. One of the large difficulties with regards to working remotely is keeping your work and home lives isolated. For certain individuals, it turns out to be exceptionally hazy, says Muse profession mentor Lynn Berger, who works in helping individuals explore vocation changes. In the event that you never completely detach from work, your work efficiency will endure and your home life can endure a shot also. In case you're accustomed to going into an office every day, the detachment among work and home is physical, and you need to attempt to reproduce that however much as could be expected with an assigned physical workspace at home. You may laugh at the possibility of a different space for a home office if, similar to me, you live in a little condo. I'm composing this in the room that is my office, kitchen, front room, and lounge area across the board. Your workspace doesn't need to be its own room. In my loft, it's a corner, yet it should feel as isolated from the remainder of your home as could reasonably be expected. Attempt to make your workspace all right with a seat you can cover for 8 hours every day and a couple of improvements. Discover a territory with great normal lighting assuming there is any chance of this happening. Regardless of whether you don't as a rule invest a great deal of energy outside, missing out on the time you spend outside during your drive can begin to burden you rapidly, and it will possibly happen quicker on the off chance that you don't have regular light coming in. Entering your workspace will enable you to turn on toward the start of the day and get down to work. On the flip side, leaving your workspace will likewise enable you to turn off by the day's end and completely withdraw. That is the reason it's likewise significant not to spread yourself over your home. While it may appear to be incredible to have the option to move from work area to lounge chair to bed, on the off chance that you let your PC creep into your personal time space, it makes it harder to keep your work separate from your home life. In case you're working at a table you have to use outside of work or a room you invest a ton of energy in, get together your work each night to make the finish of your day definitive. At the point when I worked remotely in my last employment, I was chipping away at my PC, so I'd try to close all the tabs and projects identified with my activity when I was accomplished for the afternoon. The key here is to do whatever you have to do to leave your workspace. 3. Keep clearly defined working hours. Similarly, as you assign and separate your physical workspace, you ought to be clear about when you're working and when you're most certainly not. You'll complete your best work and be generally prepared to change back to the workplace in the event that you stay with your standard hours. Furthermore, if your job is shared, being on a similar calendar as your colleagues makes everything a lot simpler. The greatest contrast between telecommuting and working in the workplace is that you are responsible for your condition and need to treat yourself like a worker, Yurovsky says. This implies considering yourself responsible, yet in addition perceiving when nothing more will be tolerated, similarly as a decent chief may. On the off chance that you feel yourself broadening your work hours since you aren't doing anything in the evening, tell yourself it's a great opportunity to take care of work, energize, and start tomorrow with a new psyche. The work will be there toward the beginning of the day. On the off chance that you live with others, this partition is considerably progressively basic. Speak with the individuals you live with to build up limits so you can eliminate interruptions during the workday, and afterward disengage and give the individuals you care about your complete consideration. Making some different memories and space to work will permit you to be increasingly present in your home life. 4. Incorporate transitions with and out of work. Your regularly scheduled drive not just gets you to work, starting with one physical area then onto the next, however it additionally gives your mind time to plan for work. Because you're not voyaging doesn't mean you shouldn't cut out comparable schedules to assist you with sliding into your workday. Perhaps you normally peruse or tune into music on your drive. You can do that at home. Or then again perhaps you can invest some energy with a pet or cherished one. You can even include an exercise, ideally at home due to the new coronavirus, yet observe what is being suggested where you live or invest some energy in an interest, once more, ensure it's proper given the well-being proposals where you are. At the opposite day's end, the night drive does the converse. Suburbanites frequently take for conceded the time they have in the vehicle or on the train to slow down from a boisterous workday and intellectually set themselves up for their night schedule, Yurovsky says. By and large, you're not going from completing a tremendous introduction properly to making supper or doing tasks. On the off chance that you attempt to hop straightforwardly, your cerebrum doesn't have the opportunity to hit the reset button, which can make you less present as you progress once more into your own life. Give yourself something that will flag the finish of work and fill in as a cradle. At the point when I telecommuted, I made it a propensity to take my pooch for a long stroll when I was accomplished for the afternoon. It helped me decompress with something physical and fun, and the propensity was self-authorizing since my canine would lie before the entryway when the time had come to go or would come searching for me on the off chance that I was taking excessively long. 5. Try not to get too sucked in by the news, or anything else. Interruption is one of the large difficulties confronting individuals who telecommute, particularly individuals who aren't utilized to it. Your house is directly before you, Berger says. That implies that whatever you're normally considering returning home to after work is currently with you. It's human to get diverted. In any case, you should be careful about the amount you let yourself get occupied. You are likely as of now to take a couple of breaks for the duration of the day at the workplace, and that is fine to do at home, as well. Utilizing that opportunity to toss in a heap of clothing is okay, yet do whatever it takes not to take a gander at your new work plan as a chance to at last wipe out that wardrobe or whatever else that takes a great deal of continued core interest. At the present time, probably the greatest interruption is the news. What's more, in case you're working remotely due to the new coronavirus, monitoring COVID-19 updates will be at the front of your psyche. It's acceptable to remain educated, obviously, but on the other hand it's anything but difficult to scroll yourself into an on-edge mess. I recommend setting clocks for any breaks you take. You would prefer not to get too submerged and overlook that you're busy working through and through. In case you're somebody who's powerless to get occupied each time you get a news alert, turn your warnings off during the workday, as well. The news will in any case be there after 5 p.m. 6. Convey, communicate. On the off chance that you don't as a rule telecommute, odds are there will be a few hindrances on the off chance that you need to out of nowhere go completely remote. The way to controlling through these knocks is correspondence, particularly with your supervisor and direct reports. Either before you do the switch or when you know it's going on, think of an arrangement that spreads out desires for how frequently you should check in and how you'll pass on any progressions or new assignments to each other. Do likewise with anybody you for the most part work cooperatively with for the duration of the day. This arrangement is probably going to change as you go. What's more, that is okay. This is another circumstance for everybody. So try to hover back and change the arrangement if issues come up. You'll additionally experience one-of-a-kind difficulties as you attempt to carry out your responsibility remotely, which can fluctuate enormously relying upon the sort of work you do. Try not to stop for a second to connect with similar individuals you would, for the most part, go to for help, regardless of whether you're not in a similar structure as them. What's more, you don't need to stay with just content-based correspondence. Try not to default to email on the off chance that you would have addressed a collaborator eye-to-eye while at the workplace, Yurovsky says. You may think that it's ideal to check in with your chief and collaborators via telephone or through video talk. This will eliminate miscommunication and separate a portion of the social detachment that can emerge out of telecommuting. Searching for more tech tips that will make remote work simpler? Look at this rundown. 7. Remember to socialize. At the point when the entire office out of nowhere begins telecommuting, you're removing a great deal of the easygoing social communications you're accustomed to having for the duration of the day that assists you with feeling less desolate and separate the dullness of work. Individuals overlook they should associate with others since it's the casual discussion and arbitrary alarms that keep your days feeling special and forestall that hamster wheel feeling. At the point when you telecommute, you don't have that, Yurovsky says. Battle this by chatting with your colleagues for the duration of the day through Slack, calls, content, Zoom, or any way your organization conveys. In the event that you for the most part get some information about their ends of the week, keep that up. On the off chance that you'd typically remark to them about a particular subject, connect. These little communications go far. Berger additionally proposes putting aside time to converse with or make up for lost time one-on-one with a collaborator. At the point when she's working remotely, she frequently eats with partners and companions by setting an opportunity to talk while they eat. What's more, you should at present remove a lunch and venture from your work. These breaks are fundamental regardless of whether you're not leaving your home. You can likewise plan morning video call the opening shots with your entire group so you make space for that first getting into work casual banter, or cut out time for other registration for the duration of the day. While you're grinding away, don't simply check in with colleagues about this venture or that TV show you both like, truly check in, Berger proposes. Loads of us are feeling on edge and dubious at this moment, and abruptly being segregated at home can intensify these sentiments. Try not to stop for a second to connect with a colleague just to ask how they're doing. This doesn't simply apply to the workday and individuals you work with. You will most likely be unable to get together with companions for supper after work, however, you can compose a gathering of individuals to talk about a book or TV show or just to make up for lost time over Google Hangouts. You don't have to arrange for that much. My closest companion and I live in various pieces of the nation, however, stream TV shows all the while so we can message about them progressively. What's more, FaceTime your mother, will you? At the point when the world is going ballistic, it's a higher priority than at any other time that we connect, interface, and deal with each other.